You know, Isabella, sometimes the quietest things, they tell the biggest stories. Like the other morning, I got this email, right? 6:15 from my pediatrician's office. Just a routine reminder about a kid's next appointment. But the thing is, I read it twice because it just didn't, it didn't quite match up with what was in the news last week. And somewhere between that second read and my first cup of coffee, I'd already decided which one I trusted more, which voice. It's like when the trust has already moved out of the federal building and into like the pediatrician's office, what does the federal building even become then, really?
Oh, Amara, that's so real. I hear that from so many of the mothers I work with. It's like, what does that sound like? Well, first, it sounds like sleep disruption. Absolutely. That's where I see it before anything else, truly. The mothers I'm with, they're running a cortisol load, and 18 months ago, it didn't exist. And it's not because of one big thing, no. It's because they're running a continuous background search, like every single morning. They've got 3 tabs open before even the coffee's brewed. They're checking AAP guidance, insurer schedules, whatever the federal page is saying today. And they're not reading to find out what to do. They're reading to see if those 3 sources still agree with each other. And the sleep, it's just gone because that search never ends. It just runs.
The body. That's it, isn't it? That's the bridge I really want to land on early here. The structural finding, it shows up in the body first. 1,792 confirmed measles cases as of Wednesday, 78% of all of last year's cases, and we still have like 8 months on the calendar. Isabella, you sit with women and families every week, working at the level of bodies and routines. What does that actually sound like in the rooms you're in,
It really does show up in the body, Amara, before it even shows up in the decision. By the time a woman is sitting across from me telling me she's anxious about her 4-year-old's next appointment, her nervous system, it's been carrying that question for weeks, sometimes months. And the decision she eventually makes, it's calm, it's quiet. She'll follow her pediatrician. That's almost always where she lands. But the cost, Amara, it's in those months of low-grade vigilance her body absorbed before she even got there. That's the part the policy conversation, it just can't see. Because policy only counts the outcome, vaccinated, not vaccinated. And these women, they've been paying for that outcome with their sleep since last summer, really.
And the Annenberg numbers, they totally map onto what your nervous system observation is registering. Like 38% confident in the HHS secretary, but 86% in primary care providers. And get this, 42% of respondents would follow AAP guidance over CDC guidance on hepatitis B vaccination for newborns, against 11% who'd follow CDC. That 4-to-1 preference, Isabella, that's not erosion. That's relocation. The trust has already moved,
And it moved before the cases even moved. I want to say that gently, Amara, because it really, really matters. The trust shift, it's upstream. It happened through last summer and last fall, household by household, as the women I see were quietly doing the work of figuring out who they were going to listen to. The case count, that's just the harvest. The planting, it was months ago. It's a huge shift, and it's happening like underneath the radar for so many. But for these women, it's their daily reality. They're asking, who do I actually trust for this deeply personal, incredibly important decision?
Let's trace the order then, because it's fascinating, right? Kennedy dismisses all 17 ACIP members in June 2025. Then, Acting CDC Director Jim O'Neill issues the unilateral schedule reduction in January 2026 without any committee consultation. 17 vaccinations down to 11, rotavirus and influenza and hepatitis A, removed from routine guidance.
Then Judge Brian Murphy rules March 16th. The agency lacked authority. The decisions were arbitrary and capricious. HHS disregarded the codified scientific process and thereby undermined the integrity of its actions. HHS appeals, cases moved through March at 5 to 6% weekly growth. By April 23rd, 1792 cases. It's like a whirlwind of policy, no?
It's absolutely a whirlwind. And while every one of those headlines was happening, something else was also happening that did not make headlines, right? Insurers, they kept paying on the pre-June schedule. Most pediatricians, they kept following AAP guidance. The American Academy of Pediatrics, it did not move. The American Medical Association, it did not move. The professional associations, they held their position quietly, while the federal frame was reorganizing very loudly. That's the parallel rail, Amara. That's what absorbed the volatility for the families who could reach it. The pediatrician didn't change. The intake form didn't change. The nurse handed them the same schedule she handed them last year. So the federal turbulence, it registered as noise, overhead, distant, rather than actual instruction.
Which is the boundary condition question made really concrete, isn't it? The Federal Advisory Committee Act, codified law. The Administrative Procedure Act, codified law. Their function is structural, Isabella, not advisory in the colloquial sense, but binding. The actions taken between June 2025 and January 2026, they treated those laws as variables in an optimization function. Cost of bypass weighed against value of speed. The calculus produced bypass. Murphy's ruling reasserted them as boundaries. The appeal is the test of whether the constraint returns to variable status or whether the precedent stabilizes. We don't yet know which. We will know. And Capital is already pricing this, Polymarket's April 30th contract on whether U.S. measles cases will exceed 2,000 by month end, it's cleared over $270,000 in volume. Capital is reading the trajectory worse than the official account does, it seems.
And Capital is reading what the women are reading, Amara. They're looking at the same gap, but from different windows. The federal narrative, it's the only signal pointing the other way. Every other signal, the survey numbers, the market pricing, what I see in the rooms I'm in every week, it's all saying the same thing. The trust has been relocated. The substitution is in motion. The official account, it just hasn't caught up to it yet, And this is where it lands unevenly. That's the part I have to name carefully, because it's where the gentleness of the perilous system stops being gentle. The substitution architecture, it works for the families who already have access to it. Engaged primary care, professional association literacy, someone in their network who helps them read the gap, a coach, a relative, a friend in healthcare. The women I work with, they're mostly inside that architecture.
But Amara, there are counties where the pediatrician left during the disrupted period, counties with just one provider, counties where the AAP guidance, it just doesn't arrive at the kitchen table because no one is carrying it there. Those families, they absorb the federal volatility directly. The case count, it's going to be uneven. The geography of the November 2026 elimination status review, it's going to show us where the parallel rails reached and where they did not. And by spring 2027, that geography of the failure will be visible in case data. By the 2028 cycle, it will be politically visible. The federal narrative, it's going to be confronted with a map that just doesn't match its account of itself. And the map will show that the parallel system held where it could reach, but that it could not reach everywhere. The women I see, they will be fine. But the women I don't see, the ones without a coach, without an engaged pediatrician, without the network that does the translation work, they're already absorbing the volatility now. They will be absorbing the consequences in 12 to 18 months. That's where this lands if nothing changes upstream.
And the boundary condition question, it stays open. the HHS appeal of Murphy's order, it will determine whether the procedural laws return to binding status or remain available as variables. And Brinkima's ruling on Google ad tech remedies, which was due March 31st and is now 3 weeks overdue, that will set a parallel precedent on whether the courts choose structural separation or behavioral monitoring when an institution has been operating outside its bounds. The two dockets are not connected, no, but they are pricing the same question. So watch what your pediatrician's office sends you Thursday and watch the CDC weekly update Thursday. Read them side by side. If the case counts recent 0.4% weekly growth holds, the parallel rails are doing the work, and the markets are wrong about the full year. If it accelerates back toward March's 5 to 6%, the markets are right, and the parallel rails simply cannot reach far enough. Brinkima's ruling is expected within days. The HHS appeal is in motion. The November review aggregates everything into a single binary. The number that matters this week is the gap between what your pediatrician sends and what the CDC sends. Read them on Thursday. The broadcast, it's in the gap.
Before we close out today's deep dive, my dears, thank you so much for joining us. If this conversation resonated, please do us a kindness. Like, comment with your insights, share it widely, and subscribe to keep these vital dialogues flowing. Your engagement truly is the current that carries us.
Absolutely, Amara. That very engagement, that quiet search for understanding, is what we've explored today. Deeply personal work families do to navigate this landscape. The journey of trust, it's a continuous, often unspoken navigation.
Indeed, Isabella. The loudest pronouncements often miss the profound shifts. It's in the quiet spaces, in daily choices, that the future is truly being written. The gap, as we've highlighted, holds the broadcast and the blueprint for what's to come. Yes, and as we await the legal decisions and visible impact, remember to lean into your trusted sources. Your pediatrician, your network, these are the anchors in turbulent waters. Empower yourselves with informed clarity every single day.